Hello everyone, thank you once again for tuning into our YouTube channel, Save Green here. And today we got 5 red flags to avoid when buying an iPhone. And we want to save you money, and if you're out there looking for an iPhone, if you're wanting to buy one, whether you are looking to buy one for yourself or if you're looking to buy to perhaps flip it and resell it, or if you're into phone flipping, then these are 5 red flags that you want to avoid when you're ready to make that purchase. So we'll get into it right away. The first thing you want to avoid is a phone with a bad ESN or financed. And this is probably the hardest thing to tell because you never know. The phone can be financed and you don't know that until you actually try to activate it for yourself. Or let's say you turn around and sell it on a platform such as eBay, and a month later they get back and the phone is disabled. Well, now you have to return their money. So one way to look into this, the best way to do it is by going to a website called sickw.com. And what that website does is it looks into the ESN number and tells you if the phone is perhaps reported as lost or stolen, or even if it's financed. So that's one avenue you can take, sickw.com. I will post that in the description below. The second thing you want to avoid is a phone that has an iCloud that's locked, or an activation lock, whatever you want to call it. But you want to avoid the phone that has, if you try to turn it on and it has an iCloud account in there and you can't reset the phone, then stay away from it. Sometimes it will be sold that way. They might tell you, like we mentioned on point number 1, that it has a bad ESN or a bad or iCloud locked. Then you want to stay away from it. But if you see the phone in person and you turn it on and you go to settings, that's where you'll be able to tell if it has an iCloud account on it. If the person's in front of you, tell them to reset it. If they can't, then stay away from this. Another thing you want to avoid is if they tell you that the fingerprint reader is not working. So if they tell you right off the bat, hey, the fingerprint reader's not working, then what that means is that the screen might have been replaced, and therefore it is not an original Apple screen, an original iPhone screen. And what that means is the resolution is not going to be as crisp. So a lot of repair people, when they replace the screens, they will just keep the home button that came with the new screen, and they might be a little lazy and they might not replace it with the original home button. That way, if the original home button is back on the original phone, it'll work. But if they tell you right off the bat that, hey, look, this phone, the fingerprint reader's not working, you might want to stay away from it, because that means that the screen was replaced at one point and it might not be an original Apple iPhone screen. That's the third point. The fourth point is if it has a cracked camera lens. So when you look at the phone, or if you're asking the person to send you pictures, tell them to send you pictures of the actual camera lens. So if the camera lens might have a hairline crack, sometimes it's really difficult to tell, but if it's got a hairline crack in there, that's going to be a little bit difficult to repair. And let's face it, nowadays everyone has a phone and they want to take pictures with it. So you're already taking a major portion of your audience. If you are into phone flipping or reselling phones, that's something you want to stay away from. Even if it's for your own personal use, of course, you want to be able to take great pictures with it. And point number 5, and last but not least, if you look on the bottom here, you see that there's supposed to be 2 screws on here, and there's only 1 screw there, and 1 is missing. So those are called Penelope screws. So if it's missing 1 or both of the Penelope screws that go in there, you definitely want to run away from this phone, because that means the phone might have been opened at one time and the repair person that worked on the phone was very sloppy, lazy, and perhaps even lost the screws and didn't even bother to try to get a replacement screw in there. They just put 1 in there and called it a day. So imagine if they did that on the outside, what might have happened on the inside of the phone if they tried to replace, let's say, the battery, or let's say they replaced the screen. There's a lot of screws that have to be removed to do all this. And if they did not put the screws on the outside, if they forgot to put 1 or 2 or lost it, it fell off the table or whatever, then imagine what might have happened inside, the stuff that you can't see. So again, those are the 5 points you want to stay away from. I'll recap once again. Any phone that has a bad ESN or financed, you want to go to sicw.com and check that in there. It is a paid service, but it is better than many I've seen out there. If you do have another service that you use, please let me know in the comments below. That's point number 1, bad ESN or finance. Point number 2 is going to be your iCloud lock or activation lock. If that's the case, definitely stay away from the phone. Point number 3, if the fingerprint reader is not working, so if they tell you, hey, fingerprint reader's not working, that means it's probably got a non-OEM screen or non-original screen. You want to stay away from that. Point number 4, camera lens. You want to make sure there's no cracks on them. Sometimes there is a crack, and even the seller might not even been aware of it if they didn't take pictures for a while. And then, of course, point number 5, if there's one or both of your Penelope screws are missing, you definitely want to stay away from that. But if you do know of any other things you definitely want to stay away from, those are the top 5 that I can think of. But if you know any more, please let us know in the description below. I would also appreciate it if you click that subscribe button, and please subscribe to our channel and support us that way. We appreciate your support and all of our subscribers here on YouTube. So thank you once again for watching, and keep tuning into our Save Green Here channel on YouTube. Thank you very much.